Destiny-Ch.22.
Orion understood perfectly now what was going on. It was obvious to him. The mother dragon had been losing blood after laying its eggs. It was, after all, a numerous dragon egg litter. Most of the eggs were unhatched, but there were other groups of hatched eggs in that same cave. White, yellowish eggs with gray spots on the top and bottom and a few green spots here and there. Orion wondered if all those eggs were from the same mother dragon or if that cave was shared by a group of dragon mothers. Maybe the entire mountain is a birthplace for dragons, he pondered. He went outside the cave to catch some fresh air. Once out, he saw dragons flying all around. He hadn't really noticed them when they had entered the cave. There were dragons of all sizes there. Large, medium, and even small infant dragons. Most dragons were dark orange with red spots, but there were a few dark gray and a couple of white ones. All of them seemed to have red spots, especially in the chest and belly area. He even saw how baby dragons were trying to fly. He saw them lift off, fall, stand back up, and try again. They gave a soft cry as they hit the rocks when they fell. It must be the birthplace of dragons, he concluded. Orion's eyes were wide open. The fog in the mountain and the high altitude, the blood stains from the dragon mother on his hands, all of that made him feel lightheaded. He felt like he was about to lose his balance and fall. He even felt like throwing up a little. Moments later, his dragon friend came out of the cave. Roar! It roared right beside Orion. Orion now fell to the ground and threw up. That roar did it for him. Soon, a dozen dragons landed in front of them. Orion was petrified but managed to remain as calm as he could. The female dragon that was just healed came out of the cave as well and roared next to him. The other dragons, seeing her now healed, bowed. Is she the dragon leader here? Orion wondered. Right afterward, the dragon that brought him there bumped Orion on the butt with its nose, and Orion went flying, spinning into the air. This is it, the legendary squirrel warrior thought to himself. It's lunchtime for the dragons, and I'm the main dish. At least I know I did well and probably will be going to heaven, he thought, surrendered as he felt a warm cloud of darkness embrace him. But then his dragon friend bumped him into the air and caught Orion on its back. It was the dragon's breath he was feeling. The dragon then began to fly towards the seas. At least a dozen other dragons followed them. After about 5 minutes of flight, Orion recognized the way. They were flying back to the Zephyr Mountains. After about an hour of flight, they arrived there. Orion's crew was nowhere to be seen. Perhaps they saw the dragons and took refuge, Orion concluded. Once they landed, Orion stepped out of this dragon friend and stepped on the soil. Special Legion Forces of Stardust Forest, show yourselves, Orion yelled. This is Commander Orion. Report for duty. The Legion then slowly came out of their hiding spots. Most of them were inside the cave, but others were hiding behind the bushes or underneath holes. The look on their faces when they saw their commander standing in front of a dozen dragons was priceless. Their eyes were wide open. Some of them even trembled as they walked, and a few stumbled and tripped, landing on the ground. Is it really you, Commander? Asked one of his generals with a shaky, stuttering voice. He was a few meters from him now. It is I. It is us, Orion responded with a firm voice. Behold our new allies, my mighty and able Legion of the Woods. Crimson and company have no idea what is coming their way. Orion's dragon friend let out a roar. Some of the soldiers fell to the ground, shocked by its loudness. Orion chuckled. Ah! Orion gave a war cry roar. Roar! The dragons followed. Ah! The entire Forest Legion gave out a war cry. It was surreal. Earlier that day, they feared for their lives, battling a mighty dragon for hours. Now, they had a whole legion of mighty dragons before them, standing as allies. Brace yourselves to the dragons, Orion commanded. Off we go. The entire legion was soon riding dragons up in the air, breathing the euphoria as they moved through the clouds. Orion's dragon friend let out another roar. The other dragons roared. The entire Legion of the Woods gave out a war cry with all their strength, but it was not nearly as loud as the dragons. The dragon smiled. With his right hand, Orion signaled to his dragon friend the direction of the austere mountains. To the castle, he yelled yet another war cry. His dragon friend began flying in that direction, and the rest of the Legion of the Woods followed.